All right then. You there? I see your name.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, how
I'm
you doing?
here.
How you doing?
Good.
Okay, so before we get into anything, I know you want to ask why I'm dressed up and stuff, and I'll talk about that in a second. Before we get to that, um, we had a comment on one of our videos that I wanted to address right off the bat.
Which video is it? Can I ask? Does it make a difference?
It does make a difference. It does make a difference.
Okay.
Now, this person says, "Let's stay on track without condescending." So I want to address that right away.
Okay. Okay.
I've spoken to Richard about his condescending attitude towards me, and he's going to do better. He promises in the future. But thank you for making the comment. It was helpful in being able to help instruct him on how not to be condescending towards me. So thank you for your comment. We really, really appreciate it. Okay. All right. So let's get to the news of the week, shall we? Some of the more important things. Twitter is now X.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah. As of today, when we're recording this, Elon pressed a button last night and it went from the little birdie thing to an X, which is, I think, enormously cool. Brilliant branding thing. You don't have to remember a name, you just remember a letter that way. It's brilliant. What do you think?
Uh, well, I don't know what to think. X, isn't that the sign for quotient for unknown?
Well, he has SpaceX and all the other things. Remember,
That's
so
yeah, I heard about
he's
that.
in fact,
Yeah.
did he name one of his kids X? No, but it was something
No,
really
no.
creacy. I thought was
One
just
of his
funny.
cars is a Model X, I think.
Probably, who knows? But
I,
I just
I
thought it
I
was.
think there's an acronym in there in his cars, SEXY, sexy. That,
I don't know.
yeah,
I,
I don't know. I don't know what to think, Mike.
I don't understand a lot about this electric car stuff, particularly in California, where the power grid is fragile, and yet you want to have all of these electric cars constantly charging. Isn't that counterproductive and counterintuitive if you're trying to save energy? Or is that just me?
Yeah, well, there's another tidbit in the news, and uh, just for our viewers, we do plan on delving into current events that me and Mike have
Do what we want.
determined for each show.
Yeah.
Current, yeah, yeah, got it. Current events, perhaps some politics, and believe me, there's such thing as prison politics,
Oh
and we'll
yeah.
discuss that too. Oh yeah, yeah. Uh, Again, the stuff that we want to talk about current events. Before I address one thing, I want to go back to the previous episode. So park it right there for me. Let me complete my thought. I don't know what to think about this, but yeah, it is what it is. Again, current events that we want to talk about. Um, I want you not to hit the mute button, but can I say what I wanted to park myself on?
Go get it.
Ah, never mind.
Good.
It's not
All right.
important. If I forgot about it, it's not important.
So let's move on. And
Oh,
I am going to talk about why I'm dressed up. We'll do that in a moment. All right. But first, another bit of news, which is far reaching and very important. Wednesday, and this will be after this episode's released. It'll be I've already taken place, but this Wednesday, do you know what's happening in Washington D.C.?
no,
Of course you don't. You're in
of
California, right?
course not.
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter. All right. Well, it does.
Well, we have our own politics here.
They are having a UFO congressional hearing. Another one. How
Oh,
about that?
that's one of your hobbies
Oh
or
yeah,
interests.
yeah. I
That
just
and ghost hunting.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And folks,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
kidding. I'm really fascinated by that stuff for some reason. But there, I think to a degree, I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid, pro wrestling, and I kind of think I've got the same mindset when I'm watching paranormal stuff as I did when I was a kid watching pro wrestling. Back when it was real, before it was fake. All
I
right.
don't see the correlation.
I know
Oh,
it's just
fake. You
part of
just
my
said it right there. Fake.
that's part of my brain. Part of my brain. I
Okay.
don't know if it's all fake or not. I will maybe we'll talk about what I believe sometime about that. But okay, so that is a UAP hearing. They're bringing in two fighter pilots who saw these UFOs, actually saw them. The Tic Tac video that they talk about on TV, and there's going to be people who know what I'm talking
Tic
about.
Tac is a breath mint or Tick Tock?
Tic Tac, like the candy, but it was flying through the air.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Tic
Ooh,
Tac
ooh,
video,
ooh.
getting that guy in, another guy in, and then the coup de grace. And I'm not making fun of any of this. I'm totally wide open to whatever happens. A guy, a high-ranking official, super secret clearances, worked for these UFO task force. He's coming in to testify, and he's already said that they've picked up crashed UFOs with bodies in them, and they're trying
Oh,
to
that's the
reverse engineer.
Roswell incident. Oh,
This is
more incidents after Roswell,
oh
New
a,
Mexico.
a boatload is what I'm hearing. All right,
Oh,
so I'm just letting you know some big news this week. Looking forward to it. So don't call me Wednesday, is what I'm saying. I will have it.
oh,
It'll be
oh,
blasting on
yeah.
in the house here. Cynthia will be gone, so I'll
Well,
be
I
gone.
would have thought you'd busy editing because, if we record on a Monday, which people aren't aware of, if
Well,
we
they are
do,
now.
yeah. Well, but you've taught me to talk in episodes, so a previous episode. But anyways, back to my point about I understand what UFO is, unidentified flying object. What is the acronym you're using now? What does that stand for? Just for our
UAP, and
viewers?
that's gone through two iterations. The first one was unidentified aerial phenomenon, and now it's unidentified something phenomenon because now now they're finding them in the water, going in the water and coming out of the water and flying in the sky, and out of the sky into the water. So they had to come up with a new one, and I can't remember anomalous. That's what it is. Unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
All right. Again,
Nice.
I'm just asking for a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those friend questions. Get that out of the way because really, I knew what you were talking about,
Yeah.
but my friend didn't, and I couldn't explain it to my friend. There you go.
Well, then you may need
And
to
that just happened in real time, folks.
reevaluate your relationship with that person.
Exactly. It's in my mind.
Yeah.
I have the best conversations are with myself. I'm the only one that understands me most of the time. And we
Okay.
talked about that earlier
Okay.
about why I do the things I do.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Okay, good. Okay, so moving on to something else now for a
Okay.
second. We've
Yeah.
covered most of the news there. Let's talk about why I'm dressed up.
Yeah, Mike, I was going to ask that, but again, we're addressing issues, the first three videos, technically second episode, and the teaser is including three. I'm really working on trying to improve myself so that if that comment and that email, he understood that you're in Texas, I'm in California, that prevents you from just backhanding me, right? When I
Well,
just
I
go
mean,
on
they,
and on.
they thought you were condescending. I thought that was, interesting. And so that's what we're just doing that. So
Okay. All right.
okay.
I'll own it. I'll
Yeah,
own
okay,
that.
good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. 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 You're fantastic.
Okay, getting
Um,
back to my point, why I'm dressed up. All right. Why I'm
yes.
dressed up. Why did I put on a jacket and get all Miami Vice-ish here? Right.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like that Miami Vices. And is this the suit jacket you're talking about in the
no,
previous
it's
episode?
not. No. This is
Oh,
this
okay.
is AP after prison garb. But
Okay.
it's at least 10 years old. I can tell you that. So it's the newer of my jackets. All right. This is the last episode. So I wanted to dress up. Right now, hang on. Let me finish. Don't react. Don't react. Don't get in your feelings. This was supposed to be the last episode. So I was going to dress nice. Everybody would remember me as the nice guy in the duo, the non-condescending person. And so that was the plan. And then I got to thinking, and I had a brilliant idea. I think we'll just keep doing this for a while and see what happens. I think I want to do that. I think I just want to keep doing it for a bit. Now, to our tens of followers, they're probably ecstatic right now, right? They're all, what is it, 10, 15 people that follow? You got it. We're going to continue on with this great content. But I was going to quit, but I've changed my mind and I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm not going to tell you why I changed my mind. That's it. All right. So let me first off say you're welcome. Okay. You're welcome. So go ahead.
Folks, again, this is in real time. The unique thing about this whole show is it's not scripted.
Yeah. No.
I'm hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
Um, thank you, Mike.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right. All right.
Okay.
So that's good. That's excellent. That's excellent. Let's talk about religion in prison. Let's talk about the chapel where I used to work, where you worked for a brief period of time. Let's talk about, that's where I worked most of the time that I was in prison. I got transferred out
Oh,
of
well,
the
yeah,
kitchen
you
here.
built a career. If there's a career in prison,
Oh
that
man.
was it for you.
Yeah.
And that's hence brother Mike, stuck. And the good thing is, in kind of a way, you're walking the walk by continuing on with that career on the outside.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
No, I'm a teacher. That's the deal. I'm a teacher. Back then, it was more. Well, I don't know. Let's talk about them
Yeah,
in
yeah. Let's talk
prison.
about the differences of teaching and preaching,
No,
because
let's not talk about
that
that.
you don't do.
We don't talk about any of this.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the chapel. Little background: there were at the time that I was there 13 different religious groups that were given access to the chapel to do services and have studies and do that sort of thing. And the reason I know that is because I used to do the scheduling for them, right? Set stuff up, get everything ready to go. And so it went from Roman Catholic, Protestant services, Jehovah Witness, LDS. I think LDS is the correct term. I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody who's LDS.
Church of
Mormon.
Latter-day Saints.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Latter Day.
Mormons.
Yeah,
Mormons.
but I think LDS is what they prefer now. So I want to be respectful
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that.
What's what they prefer, but inside. We're talking inside.
Yep.
Mormons.
And then Santeria,
Oh,
Wiccan.
yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the others. Wiccan. I said Jehovah Witness on it. And then all the groups of Muslims: Sunni, Shia, Nation of Islam, and Moorish Science Temple of America.
How about on the
And wait,
Jewish
one
side?
more. Sorry, I'm Native American. All right, they had a
Oh,
sweat
the
lodge.
Native American. Oh, yeah, they have to have sweat lodge,
Right, right,
required.
right.
And again, all these are based on Code of Federal Regulations, which is a book in the Library of Congress, congressional mandate. Prisoners never lose their citizenship, number one, if they're American citizen,
Oh, and
because
Jewish.
you go
There's
to,
Jewish one also.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But I wanted to ask in the before I get back to that, in the Jewish faith group, did you have Kabbalists, or people studying the Kabbalah, or the Zionists, or anybody like that extreme, the Hasidic Jews? There
It,
were so many facets of Judaism, right?
yeah, there is. But it depended upon the rabbi that was coming in, honestly, because you could have an Orthodox or Reformed rabbi. You may have
That's
one
right.
that was
Yeah.
into Kabbalah. This is the mystical side of the Jewish faith. Zionists, all these different groups. But generally, and I spent time with them on Friday nights for their Sabbath service, even though I claim to be a Christian, because one, they liked me. We were fun. All together, New York. They were New York guys. A lot of them were New York guys, and it was cool. And so we'd watch movies, and we would eat challah bread, and whatever else kosher was brought in. So that was generally my Friday night.
Brought in legally, technically legally, and I wasn't involved in the smuggling part ever on any religious stuff, because, again, my point back, it's a requirement for prison, federal, especially federal prison. It's a big no-no if they don't supply anything for religious, because of the First Amendment right.
Now I will say
Everyone's
this.
got a First Amendment right.
I will say this: when 9/11 happened and we were on the inside, 9/11,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
asleep, and Richard comes running into the cell. A plane just flew into the. Wow. Okay. All right. So I roll over, go back to sleep. 10 minutes later, he's back. Hey, they rolled him up. There's another one that's happened. Okay. So now it's got my attention. It wasn't a half hour later that they rolled up every Muslim on the compound from all those different groups. It If there was
Even if they had the
anything
name
close,
Ali or something,
you're
they
gone.
were gone. Gone.
Rolled them up, put them in the hole.
Muhammad, last name, gone.
And so I want you to think about that for a second. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories, but
No.
what's interesting to me about that is it was hours later before they presented any kind of an idea that it was an attack from Osama bin Laden or any of those others. But they knew within 30 minutes to roll all these people up, and none of them were related to that or any of that kind of thing. It was just the religion and the last name, and they rolled them up. And by
It's the
rolled up, I
way,
mean taken to the hole.
number one, we're in a government environment. It's ran by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, hence the word federal. So yeah, the inside info, there was a mandate
Yep.
probably out of Washington, D.C. As soon as it happened, this is again the government. Just issue a all points bulletin to all federal facilities. I'm sure on the outside in the free world, FBI buildings, everything federal was shut down automatically, because they knew
But but what I'm
it
getting
was a
at
government action.
is they rolled those guys up 30 minutes later. That's pretty
Yeah,
quick to come to
quick,
that conclusion and get to a podunk federal prison out in the middle
of
of
nowhere,
nowhere. Yeah, that's much
near the
cleaner.
Mojave Desert, folks, Death Valley.
So I just thought
Yeah,
it could. So getting back, the religion, everybody's required to participate, do all those sort of things, and I was early on in a lot of the studies that I was doing. I was early on in seminary, that sort of thing. But I used to attend all the different services at some time or another. All of
Did you
them.
go to Sweat Lodge, Mike? Did they
I
let you
did.
in there?
I did.
Did you smoke peyote? Or you're not even gonna say, right?
I don't even know what that is. Sorry, Richard. All right.
Okay, go.
So
Okay.
move on. So yeah, but it was interesting to get to do that. Now, how many people get a chance to do that? Well, a lot of the guys who were working at the chapel, we got a chance to do that. So I thought it kind of broadened our horizon in understanding who God is, who he isn't, and trying to get an idea of all of this. So that's the rationale that I had behind it. Now, the cops on the other, or the excuse me, the cops on the other hand thought it was the center for contraband smuggling, as I think we've mentioned before. And so they would constantly, once the chapel was closed, go in and pretty much ransack the place.
I
And I
never knew
mean,
this, Mike.
tear it up.
You kept that on the down low.
So we put the stuff back together, all that sort of thing. But it wasn't easy if you were um, a Christian or Catholic working there. They didn't really bother the other folks, maybe because they're more litigious in nature. They might sue them or something like that. But we were the ones would get rolled up and put in the hole under investigation, or we'd be the ones that had to stay after to be interrogated and all this sort of thing. So I just, when people look at folks who come out of prison who are religious, shall we say, please give them the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't a busted again, born again type of experience, because it's tough to practice in there. It really is. I just want to make that point. Now, that's kind of a PSA. I just kind of want to make that point that, give the guys a break, give them an opportunity to prove you wrong rather than just presuming they're bad.
I want to add to that, and I think we discussed this. The more we do this podcast, folks, it's really therapeutic for me to go back. But remember that old saying that people have about once an inmate leaves prison
Oh, the barrels?
about the two barrels. Can you talk our audience about that?
Yeah. And I, several times when I was speaking, I would bring up these two barrels. And I said, look, one is for your cane that you're not going to use, because if you got a cane, you didn't have to work in prison, And so everybody would pretend to be, or not everyone, but a lot of people would pretend to be hurt and that sort of thing. So I wouldn't have to work or do it. And so as soon as they're walking out, metaphorically, there's a barrel, you'll be putting that into there. And I said, and then there's going to be some guys also who the other barrel's for, and that's where you put your Bible, because you're not going to use it on the outside. And they would get angry, and then afterwards they wouldn't be angry, and but it was true, because we kept seeing guys circulate in and out, and they didn't like hearing that. But those who didn't get angry, and I'm still familiar with some of them now, stuck with it. They're still living the life the way they're supposed to, and not getting into trouble. But it's a good thing there's no phonies in churches out here, right? I mean, isn't that great?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah. That's
Yeah,
great. That's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's phony
Yeah,
or
yeah.
fake. So what
No,
I'm
no,
getting at is,
not outside. No.
yeah,
That's why we're laughing because it's preposterous.
yeah, yeah, it is. And
The what do you call it? Hypocrisy in its highest.
yeah, I mean, it's everybody believes people change until they're confronted with somebody who has changed, and then it's kind of like, well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know.
Mike, you just reminded me of something based on our biblical knowledge and studies and everything. Hypocrisy for you, Greek word. What does it really mean? So that I can extrapolate for people visually what a hypocrite really is, because it goes back to Greek theater, correct?
Yeah, it does. The masks
Okay.
that they used to wear,
Yes,
and
yes,
essentially you could be two-faced by having two masks, playing one mask on
exactly.
here, the other mask here, and the thing. And so that's where our lovely term hypocrite comes from.
Yep, Hippocrates or something. Am I correct
Hippocrates.
in
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
Hippocrates in
Yeah,
Greek?
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
So, anyways, on this topic about, I remember working in the chow hall at Lompoc because I was a cook in there, and looking out on the yard in the big dining room, big window coming into the quad. You remember? And then we used to have to wait in line. on
Mhm.
the left side or the right side.
Sure.
But for me, my viewpoint was, but anyways, after the kitchen was closed, meal was over, I picked up on an interesting point here, a concept, a viewpoint, and that is, I was looking out in the yard. I saw you and what we, everybody has got a car that they fit in, people that they hang out with, and they call it a car. And in your car, you probably didn't know it. We called it the CRF, Christian Radical Front, you know, because you're a Christian and just, I don't know, radical thinking because we had mixed in with other faith groups, especially the Catholics. We're Christian too, but sometimes they don't see it that way, that they're Christian, we're not. But anyways, then it gets into they're not that bad. Okay, they're Catholic brothers. But my point was I saw people congregate in groups from this big window. I'm looking out, and you could see by whoever associates themselves that these guys are doing good. They're doing what they're supposed to. Then you could always sense the guys that just don't get it. They don't learn their lesson. They're going to go back and they congregate with other guys that they're clueless. They don't realize that recidivism is what we're talking about, folks, coming back into prison. And these people are never going to change. But I saw people in groups like that when you could see that. And
Yeah.
so if I could see that, guess what? The staff and all the prison guards, the ward, the staff, meaning counselors and everybody that's there, they see these things, so it gave me that viewpoint. But again, on this two barrels concept, yes, the whole point of this show is to let people know about redemption. And there's some people like us that take it to heart, serious about it, trying to change who we are. And redemption is buyback. And again, I want to discuss about ways of redeeming the time because that concept's out there. And I don't know if people really that's we get to talk about our own content, our own subject matters as we go along, but we're never making this stuff up. And it's about redemption here, folks. So I want to invite guests that are similarly situated to Mike and I, bonded, the brotherhood, which is again, is it our first episode on the docu-series
Oh,
that we
no,
want
let's
to
not
do?
talk about that. Oh, no, no, no.
Okay.
Don't talk
Let's
about
not talk.
that.
Let's not give away too much. Okay.
Don't give away
So,
anything.
but on the two
I'm
barrels
still
thing,
talking to Netflix about it, so just keep going.
okay. So I got my brother-in-law, and I'm really proud of him. He had an indeterminate sentence, as they call it in California. And he was part of one of the world's biggest, or not world's
Is he
most
gonna want you
famous.
talking about this?
Well, I'm just saying.
No, I'm asking
I'm gonna
before you
talk.
get in
I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna talk to him
but
because
you're
of the two barrels.
shouldn't you talk to him
Wait, wait,
before
wait,
you
wait, wait. Hang on.
you get beat up?
I
It's on
talked to
you.
him.
All right.
No, I know. But the guy spent a significant amount of time, and he's out, and he's walking the walk. He's doing fantastic stuff. He's building homes for people that are down and out. He's doing a lot of community projects, and that's why I want to have him on the show. My point is people like him that need that redemption publicly, that are actually walking the walk and doing things. I want them on the show. I want to talk about mad people, mad, MAD, making a difference and contributing to community. Because in prison, we learned it's a community. It
It
is.
is.
And
Yeah.
as you asked me in previous episodes, what am I doing in LA? Even though LA's got, I forget how many millions of people just in LA, then LA County, um, I see it as one because of prison. I see now LA as a community, and I understand that the board of supervisors and all local municipalities and government. I understand all this stuff, and that's what you need to govern a big metropolis. Everything's sectioned out, but it's all a community. We're all part. I go to the movie theaters a lot. I go night clubbing. So I told you about my this weekend about those two fronts. If we want to talk about that, I'll let you ask questions.
Yeah.
But I'm done. I reached my point about the two barrels.
Okay, good. One of the things that I discovered early on from a prisoner's, where we were viewing these things, and from studying religion and psychology, all that, both of which are fascinating to me, but a lot of my peers can't understand how can you do one or the other, right? You got a foot in both worlds. And I say I'm liminal. I'm like the doorway. I can go in, I can go out, right? But some get it, some don't. But one of the things that I learned, and I have it written down on a piece of paper in front of me that reminds me every day of this, and it says, perceptions are conditioned by beliefs. So how you perceive someone is based upon what you believe to be true, not necessarily about just that person, but something else. All right. So if we have the perception of guys coming out being, they're going to screw up again, do that sort of thing, our perception is going to be, okay, I'm looking at this person as a screw up and a potential screw up. All right. And so what I had to learn to do for me was to change my beliefs, and not just my spiritual beliefs, but my belief in human beings in general. All right. I believe, for instance, that everybody lies. Okay. It's not always a negative thing. It may be they lie to keep from hurting somebody's feelings or to protect someone. I get that. But that's one of my perceptions of people. That's based upon my experience. Maybe it's people that I've hung around with. When people start telling stories, the fish goes from being 6 inches to, 3 feet. And as the story goes on. So it's the perception and the beliefs that are involved in that. So when we're looking at redemption, what is our belief about redemption? What's our definition of the word redemption? What does it mean? And I would challenge people who are watching this or listening to it. What's your definition of redemption? And if you're thinking about people in general, can they really be redeemed in your eyes? We're not talking about religious now. We're talking about, can a person change? Because your perception of those people is going to be based upon your beliefs, what you believe to be true. And it's like lawyers, right? We all have these perceptions of lawyers. Oh, they're this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, until you need one. All right. Then it changes. Everything changes at that point. That this perception that we have, the belief now that okay, they must be good too. There's got to be a good. So it's that sort of thing. Or people get mad at the police, and they're terrible. This until they need it. So beliefs and perceptions. So what are your beliefs about redemption? What are your beliefs about, can a person change? Is it even conceivable or possible in your mind? And you can look at either one of us, and look. The people who are subscribed to the channel, they know you. They don't know me, right? So they already have a perception of you. The perception of me in the first few episodes was, he's kind of mean, but wait a second, I get it. This is a show. This is taking place here, and it's part humorous, a part of the show. Yeah, humorous part of the show. But what are your perceptions? What are your definitions of redemption? Think of the person who's wronged you in your life. Do you think that they could ever change? Do you think they could ever change? Well, I got an ex-wife that says he'll never change. Okay, I've been divorced 30 something years from her. So do you believe people can change, and to what extent? So when they look at you, Richard, the guys at the movie studios and the producers and this and that and the other thing, they have their perception based upon their beliefs. And so for me, when I'm looking at Hollywood, I have my perceptions, and agreed that they go back. The only time that I've been to LA recently was when I moved out of California to Texas and had to drive through then to get out of there. So I have my own perceptions based upon something that's probably 30 years old. You were talking this weekend about, going to the club, and I haven't been to a club since the 80s. And it was like Studio
54.
Yeah.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, New York. Right. So,
yeah.
And I don't think it's quite like that anymore. Probably not anyways. So, but that's my perception. We say, yeah, I went to the clubs. Like, oh man. So my beliefs of what a place is like skews my perception. So when you're looking at Hollywood, trying to go against the powers that be to make a movie, their perception of you may be less than who you think you are or who you know yourself to be. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it?
You want me to say something? That's
Not yet. I just want to finish up with this.
Rhetorical question,
Here's
right?
what do you want to do about it? Because tell me now, I'm getting ready for you because I'm talking too much. What's the definition of insanity, Richard?
Oh, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
So that's exactly. What are
Or
you?
being a
So
glutton for punishment,
no. Go with your first definition. The gut
Okay.
answer is the best one right there. So what are you going to do? How do you do it differently? And do you really have to prove to anybody that you're redeemed? So those are some things I thought I'd toss out for discussion here. And I know we're getting deep into the woods, and I know that we're getting long into the podcast, but there will be more, probably, God willing. So what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are, yeah, there's so much material here. But yeah, let's broaden it out. But this is what makes our topic interesting. Even though we're talking about prison, for me, I can't help that people want to Google me because I'm in the public eye now, public figure, right? And I told you this weekend I got a lot of recognition when I went out somewhere. So it's not rocket science for somebody to run my name and all of a sudden come up with shit, he went to prison. Oh, this guy's a bad guy. So automatically, I'm having that happen on a regular occurrence because of what I'm doing. Again, raising big money, big movie budget. I'm in the limelight. People want to know, how'd this guy get here? Who is he? I'm talking about the honchos in Hollywood that are either at studio level or there's a lot of independent filmmakers. And I want people to really know and learn this from my perspective. Whether we're independent or non-studio, it's all the same. We're doing big, multi-million dollar film projects, filmmaking. So it doesn't make a difference about if the guy's an independent. It doesn't mean he's cheap about this. It just means we're not letting the studios take advantage and taking all the money. We'll do it ourselves, provide our own distribution, marketing, all that stuff. Okay. So I I get this all the time, Mike. All those points you just hit are really more amplified on me. And friends and family that know me, no, I'm not going back to that lifestyle. In fact, even though I hear about it in the news, I talk about it, there's not one bit of me that misses what I did to make money,
Right.
and that was dealing coke. I was a dealer, but mainly what really got me in trouble was a smuggler. Okay, so we're never going back to that ever. But people closest to me, because I'm this wildly. I found out by making a movie.
Can I interrupt you for a second? Can you hear
Yep.
that in the background?
No.
Do you hear any yipping?
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. I didn't, because your story was going to be ruined by my dog who's asleep over here, and
Oh
she's
no.
chasing something in her dream. And
She's dreaming. Yeah.
yeah, so I just want, because it was going to sound bad. You're talking about international drug smuggling and all this kind of stuff. It takes away from the drama when you can hear a little dog yipping in the back. So go ahead. It's not little either. It's a big dog. So it makes a lot of noise. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, my point is, those that are close to me know that life was far. I mean, in fact, I can talk about these things now because it is public record, and that's why we said I'm always under the gun here. It is public record. You can just Google and you'll find me quickly. But people think like they make me feel like I haven't talked about it with other people around me, but everybody in my circle on the movie, they all know my background now, and I don't hide it. I don't keep it a secret because I love that one scripture um, that I live my life as an open book to be known and read by all men or all people. and I live that. I find that it's easier to just be you and not keep up with any lies and hide stuff, live in the light. So
Hmm.
this redemption stuff, yeah, people accept it, but I'm talking about really close to me. Uh, again, on this creative thinking that I realized on this movie that I have other projects already lined up. I found out I'm very, very prolific. I can write a profile of stuff just based on my creativity, but people don't trust that because they line up with the fact that I was in prison. And to them, I'm a slick talker. Like I said, the judge even, recognized that. And I think he might have gave me more time for it. I don't know. Um, but people don't trust me as as much. I'm talking about my loved ones because they think I'm trying to run game on them, manipulate them in psychological ways of always, I'm always about me. But talking to you a couple of years ago, you kind of cleaned it up for me since you're into psychology. And all I was doing is being self-surviving or what was the word you used?
Oh,
I'm
you're
just
you're
trying
you're
to survive.
you're in survival mode,
There's a
right?
word. Yeah, survival mode,
Yeah.
right? I'm trying to function from being institutionalized after all this time, function in the real world. And again, my qualities are, and your qualities, we really gleaned a lot of positive stuff from a negative, uh, your experience of dealing with other religious groups or faith groups, whatever you want to call them, gave me that exposure too, as well as working in the chapel with you for a few months. Um, but yeah, I really think that we have a lot, when I say content, folks, we really have a lot of
Well, I
stories.
don't think we have to sell them on the content right now.
No, 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 yeah, exactly. But we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And the problem with me is there's so much in here. I need Mike here to help, get it out and then compartmentalize it and stay on
Yeah.
track here because
One thing at
there's
a
a lot of
time.
material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
So,
Okay.
but
So
I'm always being judged.
yeah.
I'm either being
Yeah.
judged by family because it's all you said person. I just wanted to continue on your point on perceptions. It's how people perceive me, but I can never shake loose the personality stuff. They always think that they're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. But then again, publicly, people that don't know me, I've had people just walk away from me once they found out. But I don't hide it, and I can't. And that's the whole point of doing this podcast, to get in front of me, myself, put it out there, and let people accept me for who I am and
Yeah.
what I'm doing today,
Or
which is
or not. Right.
I
What
want
I
to
would
go
do.
from famous to infamous.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No, from infamous to famous.
Okay. We get the point. Now, can we move on?
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
moving on. The whole idea behind perception in this case, and I would challenge anybody who's watching this or listening to it to do this very thing. Imagine you were judged by the worst thing you ever did in your life, that was the way you were always going to be. Imagine what that would be like. Imagine what it would be like for you. All right. Just imagine. Now, I'm not trying to, I have a chip on my shoulder. No, that chip is long gone, long gone. But what I'm saying is to understand other people, whether they're former prisoners or not, put yourself in their shoes where you now have a tag on you. You have a label, ex-con. And so, what is your belief about ex-cons? What is your belief about the worst thing you ever did? Can you rationalize it? Can you justify it? Was there a reason for it? Of course there was at the time. Of course there was. And if you look back on it years and years later, you'll understand better your motivation for that. But also understand people do change. Sometimes very drastically, sometimes very radically, but they do change. Do you believe that you can change? So we're no different. We're no different, Rich. I mean, we're human beings like everyone else. And I have my perception of certain people and they have all of that. But I go back to the idea of, would I want to be judged by the worst thing I ever did? And I realized I already am. People already know. They look at it. And I'm good with it. I mean, when I got a college that
Yeah.
contacts me, I don't have to explain to them about my background. They already know. I don't keep it a secret. I don't flag it like I used to when I first got out, telling everybody. You know, this is a huge story. I'll tell you about that sometime. But through all of this, we're beginning to kind of wind this thing down a little bit. The idea is, do you, the people who are listening, believe people can change? And what would it be like for people to judge you based upon the worst thing you ever did in your life? And that's who you would always be in their eyes. How would that make you feel? All right. So let's see if we get some comments on this one, Rich. You're just trying to make excuses now.
I wanted to add to that, prejudice, right? Prejudging, isn't that the root
Yeah,
word
I
for
mean,
prejudice? To prejudge?
but I don't
But
know.
that's
It's
a little different than what you're saying. I
yeah,
just wanted to throw it out there. It's deeper what you're saying. It's more personalized. You can take it in. Uh, in fact, you know what? You taught me one of these great euphorisms that you always have, and there's a lot of them. Put yourself in, when you're telling people, put yourself in maybe somebody else's shoes. Maybe you really didn't say that, but here's my take on this. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes, but first take yours off. Remove yours.
yeah. There you go. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, people don't think about that. Oh yeah, I'll put my no, 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 no. You still have your shoes on. Take yours off first, and really put yourself in that position.
Good.
So
All right.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
good topic stuff.
So don't call me Wednesday, right? You know why?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
UFO. Oh, wait, again. Remember, a friend who's watching told me to ask this question. AUTP or UATP? What does it mean?
UAP is now
UAP.
unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
P for an F sounding word. How am I going
Phenom-
to?
phenomenon
How's my
spelled
friend?
PH.
Not me. I'm sorry. How's my friend going to remember that? That there's a P in there. U
When they come
A
down and
P.
beam him up and do experiments on him, I bet he'll
That's
remember
right.
what the P stands for
That's
then.
right.
How about that?
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you go,
yeah,
partner.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
I'm kind of excited about it. This is going to be interesting.
Of course.
Your tax dollars at work. Yeah, I
Are
can't.
you going to dress up like this?
No, no, no. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's no sleeves on this shirt. All right. So I'm just letting you know. There you go. It's hot here.
You got, you know what? There's a sandwich shop called Jersey Mike's. I don't
Yeah.
know if you have them out there where you are on the
Yeah.
island, or
Yeah.
do you have to go mainland?
Yeah. Yeah. Put me
Jersey
in.
Mike's, but you can get the sandwich Mike's way. This is Mike's way of addressing guys.
Yeah. Well, usually when you see the shirts that I'm, because it's hot here, it's hot. I mean, here's what we have: this heat warning. It's from 11 a.m. this morning until November 2nd. It's gonna be hot that long.
Well,
It's a
me,
joke. It's a
I'm
joke.
dressed. I got a full long sleeve shirt,
Yeah.
but it is hot here.
And I got
I'm
shorts
dressed
on
like
too.
this.
I got shorts
People,
on and no shoes.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I believe you.
It's true.
I believe no, I believe you.
It's true.
I dress like this because I like dressing like this, which reminds me of another prison story. This Mexican guy, I think his name is Rodriguez Martinez. It doesn't matter. But this guy used to always, do you remember him playing the guitar? I think he used to hang out at the chapel sometimes. I'm not talking about the other guy that used to hang out at the chapel. Talking about this guy with the mustache, very gentlemanly looking Mexican guy. But he had his prison uniform, which he was always together, and his shirt was always ironed, his pants, his khaki pants, khaki shirt, ironed,
Ironed. Yeah.
shoes polished.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, we're locked up. Are you getting a visit? Nope, I don't get visits. Then why? He goes, on the outside world, I carried myself like this. Just because I'm here, why am I going to stop now? I thought it was a good point.
Because it's prison and you don't have to. But that's okay. All right. That was the
Yeah,
answer. No,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
exactly who
yeah,
you're talking about, but what a cool guy.
yeah, yeah. Cool guy,
He
good
tried to
gentleman.
teach me to play bossa nova on the guitar.
Ooh, was he that good?
He was great. I never got it. It's not I couldn't get the rhythm because it's like an offbeat. I love bossa nova stuff, but it was like I can't do this. Oh yeah, just take your time. You got time. And no, I can't. I couldn't get the thing, and it was but he was a great guy. You're
Well,
right.
you just remind me of another little prison story. And everybody knows who this guy is because he does publicly talk about it. But he was with us at Taft, and I was taking guitar lessons. And so I'm in the music room. There's an area where there's just a room where away from everyone else you could sit there and so Tommy's in the room and he's playing the guitar and I'm learning chords. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. So each time I strum my guitar, Tommy is in the corner and he's doing blah 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 blah. And then I do another chord, blah 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 blah.
He's running scales.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't know. So for each time this guy was so good. Well, his son's a guitarist too of a rock band. But anyways, um, Tommy is so good that he was picking up on the note and running scales.
Yeah, great
So
ear.
anyways, on the third or fourth strum, I realized he was playing in the keys that I was learning or the chord. And I looked at him, I go, "You son of a gun, I know what you're doing." He just laughed, and then yeah, he left after that.
Yeah,
But
we played together a few times, and he was just great. Really, I mean, great for a non-professional musician, but yeah, you can tell where his son got his talent from. Obviously, came that side. He was very good.
you ever remember how when he walked the yard, or before he even got there, it was already news. They planned on his TV show, his exit, that his character was going to go on vacation. Well, yeah, he went to Club Fed vacation there, you know. But anyways, um, everybody was waiting for this guy to hit the yard. Even the damn guards and staff and the warden, we had a real deal celebrity. And for all those that had been down because of his subject matter and his comedy, he was like a legend. These
Yeah.
guys were really so. Again, that I remember getting in trouble for one more guy. He's deceased now, but they did that movie Blow with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz. You recall that movie
I never
Blow?
saw it. Never saw it.
Okay, George Jung was his name. He was a big cocaine
I
smuggler.
He's a smuggler. All right, he died. You said right, or the actor
Yeah,
died.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I almost went to the shoe over his presence on
Right.
the other yard.
Ah.
He never hit the camp. He was so high profile, he couldn't. But I remember one of the counselors, who I don't want to say her name, but rhymes with witch. Her last name rhymes with witch. But anyways, the this counselor didn't like me. And because I said something preparing, because I worked admin, I had a lot of cool jobs in prison. So I was trying to assign them bunk. So yeah, what? Okay, all right. Let me just finish.
No,
They
yeah, I'm
tried to
just
throw me
laughing.
in the shoe.
Yeah.
But you and I had such juice cards, and that's what they're called when you're a shot caller or something. You get a juice card. It's
Yeah.
imaginary and sometimes it's real.
Yeah.
Remember the real chow passes that we had that allowed us to go eat early in front of everyone, stuff like that. But you and I had juice cards, and one of the juice cards that I had was I had a working relationship with the admin, the warden mainly, and everybody else down. When this person found out that I knew something about this George Jung from the movie Blow coming to the yard,
All right.
they tried to shoe me up, and it didn't work because when the warden found out and she took her petition to the warden, hey, Maldonado, he sat there, you know what, go Maldonado, go. That was it. Nothing came of it. But yeah, I had a lot of because people like me. That was it.
Yeah, you got that going for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice.
All right. How
All right.
much time do we have left,
We're
Danny?
done. I'm one. It's really hot in this jacket, and two, we've been going for like 2 hours. It feels like it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. All right.
You know
Yep.
what? I told Mike I'm going to work with him a little bit more because we need to get his nice side out, to for you guys because of that comment, um,
Well,
that I'm
they
not
thought you were
taking too
holding me
long.
back by being
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
condescending.
yeah,
That's what they
yeah,
thought. Because
yeah.
you being condescending to
Exactly,
me, that was
exactly.
terrible. I'm glad.
So
Thank you again
Mike's,
for the comment. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. And we encourage people to keep liking, subscribing, and give us your comments.
Yeah.
We'll design our shows around this.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
If we give a flying,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got that. We've got that. All right. So that's it for now. And we're gonna let's see. So
well, the news was you're wearing a jacket, right? It's
yeah,
something good news we can conclude on.
yeah.
You're wearing a jacket because are you celebrating that we're
No,
going to continue on with Novaturients?
I have my own reasons. My own
Oh
reasons.
yeah, that's right. You said you don't want to
I
discuss.
don't want to talk
You were
about
just leaving it right there
it. Right.
at the altar.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. All right. So I will see you next time. Maybe we'll see how everything works out because
What do you
I'm
mean maybe, Mike? You gave me your word.
no, I'm saying the UAP thing. This may be
Oh yeah, that's right. Don't bother you on Wednesday. And I like how in the previous episode, don't ever call me.
yeah. Yeah,
You
don't
know,
do that.
that's why you're encouraging people. You say email. What's our email again, Mike?
I don't know. Wait a second. Let me look. Do we get any emails today? Hang on.
Oh,
Let's
oh
see. It's
no.
the Novaturients podcast at gmail.com.
And that's Novaturients plural with an
Plural.
S.
Yeah, with an S. I think. Let me look.
Not to be confused with our other projects
Yeah, yeah,
because
with an
I'm
S.
taking a run with it.
Novaturients,
Yeah.
plural, because there's
Mhm.
at least two.
There's two of
And with
us,
my
at
multiple
least right now.
personalities, there could be many, many more. We don't know. Right.
You see, there's one of the personalities trying to come out right now.
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, so
I've
that's
heard the
it.
voice.
What did we learn today?
Yes.
Perspective,
Mhm.
beliefs, and everyone lies. Okay, so that's it.
Okay.
Drive safely, everyone. Take care. Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.